What's up, everybody? Outside the squared circle, this is Frank. That's Dennis. We're gonna get right into it. We had two really good fights. Maybe not really good fights. One onslaught, and then a really good fight from the main event this last Saturday. So Dennis is gonna kick us off, man. What did you think about Tank's performance this last Saturday against Pedraza?
I think Tank proved what I knew a little bit, but not what Floyd Mayweather has been saying. He's not the next Floyd Mayweather, okay? He's not that. But he is a really good fighter. I think this guy can be special. But something like we was talking about, him winning this fight, it puts him in a bit of a jackpot because now it puts an arrow on his back.
Yeah.
And I know he could beat some more guys at that. Maybe even unify another title. But against stiff competition like Lomo, Axeman, Tevin Farmer, I have to wonder if he can beat those guys. I'm not saying that he can't. I have to wonder, could he? Just because for one reason only, experience. He's been dominating the guys that he fought. Pedraza was the only guy that I know that really he fought that came tested. All these other guys, they didn't come tested that much. It's kind of like a Gary Russell Jr. How they threw him in with all them guys and they threw him at that Lion Lomo and Lomachenko ate him alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they threw him in there too soon because they didn't feed him the right competition. I'm hoping this is not the case with Tank. So what they need to do is they need to ease him into it. He needs to start getting tested more and more. His next fight, it's probably gonna be a mandatory or whatever, or maybe it's gonna be optional. But even if it's optional, they need to pick somebody that's gonna test him. And they need not pick a can and say let's give him a sauce. They need to pick somebody who's gonna push him to the limit because that's what makes them fighters: experience. Get in there with guys that you can't knock out. We need to see taking the ring with a guy who he just can't knock out, and he has to outbox and outsmart the 12 rounds. Stuff like that builds character, it builds a fighter. So if they can get that done for Tank, I'm telling you, Tank gonna be a bad boy, man. That kid, he has speed, power, and boxing skills. Only thing is, I heard Floyd say this too. Floyd alluded to his last fight that he said Tank got a little tired, but he really didn't. He didn't train with them in a money team gym. Well, he needs to fix that. He needs to fix his stamina, and that always happens too. I always notice that big punchers usually tire out fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they put so much into their shots, and if you miss those shots, that just takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for Tank to be because that kid looks like he's the one. I put him in the three mix. I put him in I always say the three special kids. That's in the lower ranks is going to be Devin Haney, Tank, Gervonte, Davis, and Shakur Stevenson. Those three kids, all of them three are amazing, man. I even heard a story. This off the topic, but I heard a story that Shakur Stevenson took Tank to school in the money.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
I heard that rumor. I would love to see footage of that. I really would. But yeah, back on schedule. Yeah, the fight was great. He showed me a lot of things. Like you say, he showed me his heart, his will. When he got a little bit tired, and he was able to use his mind and not to preserve his energy and not completely gas out. And that's good because it's going to be times where he can't knock people out, and he's going to have to depend and rely on his smarts and IQ to get him through a fight. So I'm really just looking forward to seeing him fight some more of these guys. I think a really nice fight for him if Lomachenko don't fight him. I would like to see Orlando Salido versus Tank. I think that is a monster fight.
That would be.
Orlando gonna give him. He's gonna give him all the experience he needs.
Yeah,
and that's what he needs fights. He needs fights like that. You put Orlando Salido over there versus Tank, and I think you're gonna have an action-packed match, and you're gonna find out something else about Tank that we don't already know. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, and the thing is, the biggest thing that you see a lot of these young dudes coming up is, they're power punchers. They get dubbed as power punchers when they haven't really fought anyone just yet. But, they're sitting down on a lot of their shots in the 4-round fights and the 6-round fights, so they're getting dudes out of there like they're supposed to. So the thing that was great to me was he finally fought, a world-class guy. His power stayed. Every shot he landed, Pedraza knew he got hit. You know what I mean? He didn't start seriously getting hurt until it was just about stoppage time, but you could tell it was backing him up. It was keeping him honest. You know what I mean? Great fight though on Tank's part. I didn't have a prediction going in because it's so hard for me to predict when there's someone who's so talented, but he's never been tested yet. So I went in with an open mind. I said, Pedraza can still win this fight. He might not be as talented, but he's proved it at the world-class level a few times. But Tank has all this talent. If he can put it together, if he can show us what we all think of him, he can win. And man, that's exactly what he did. And just like you said, he hasn't had tests yet to really show character, but the biggest thing that I thought you touched on was that those mid-rounds, he started to get tired. And I was like, oh man, this could get bad for him. And I had texted you. I said, Dennis, this is to me starting to look like Cotto Margarito 1, where Cotto looked so good in the first, 5 rounds, but he was sitting on so many of his shots, and he was moving backwards. So it's a little bit different of a fight, but some parallels. But he tired out because he was sitting on a lot of his shots. He really wasn't missing Margarito, but he wasn't getting Margarito out of there. And that was the same thing with Pedraza. And it seemed like Pedraza was coming on in a few of those middle rounds. And I said, we're going to see what's up with Tank now. Because he's getting tired. His shots aren't having the same effect on Pedraza that they were. It seems like Tank's output is going down. So we're going to see what his footwork is looking like. We're going to see what his head movement, what his ring IQ is, his feints, the things he can do to get Pedraza off of him, etc., etc. And, he passed all the tests for this fight. There's nothing more than I can say. He looks really good. The one thing I do want to touch on, me and you spoke about it off air a little bit, is now he's in a position that I hate. I hate this position because he's young still. He still clearly needs to develop. And now people are already calling for him to fight Lomachenko. So there's two sides to this sword. It's a double-edged sword. People are saying, well, you can't continue to treat him like a prospect because he has a major title. Throw him in there with Lomachenko. Throw him in there with Francisco Vargas, right? Throw him in there with Orlando Salido. But then you got the other guys who say, let's slow down. He's still young. You know what I mean? Let him take a few mandatories. Let him fight a couple top 10, top 15 guys. And I get both sides. And the reason why I hate this position is because I don't know my stance on it. I really don't, because I understand both sides. You understand what I'm saying? So what do we do from here? Now, me personally, I do let him take his mandatory. You absolutely don't throw him in with Lomachenko yet. He's not ready for Lomachenko just yet. You throw him in maybe against a mandatory, and then if Francisco Vargas wins in a couple weeks, then you're talking maybe those two fight. Because I think Francisco Vargas is a good fighter, but he's, to me, clearly a step below Lomachenko, but also a step above Pedraza. So that'll be, another step forward for Tank. I think that would be a great fight. But, hey, he looks like he's one of the future pieces of boxing, man. That kid can flat out fight. That being said, I don't know how big of a name he'll ever get, because he doesn't seem like he has the frame to go up too high. I think maybe 135 will be his max weight. What do you think about that?
His max, Tank. He's small. I think that's why he got him the name Tank, because he's small, compact, and packs a lot of power. So I see him 135 is his limit. I don't think he can move up to 140. If he does, he'll be like a little guy in a group. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll be fighting. I couldn't imagine saying Tank versus Crawford. You know what I mean? And how something like that.
How tall is he? He looks like he's about 5'4", maybe. He can't. It doesn't seem like he can go too high in weight. I was gonna say 5'5". Yeah.
I was gonna give him an extra inch.
Right.
He looks like about 5'5". Like you're short when Bradley taller than you. So when Tim Bradley taller than you, you're short. You know what I mean? So that's. I really think 135. So he could do his thing at 130. He can move up another weight class, and then he could be a 2-time world champion. You know what I mean? I think that's still 2-time world champion, 2 different weight classes. I think that's a great. You know what I mean? So I don't knock him.
And to be honest with you too, he doesn't seem very big at 130. He might be able to get down to 126 and fight a few of the guys down there, like Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz. There's some good fights that he made at 126 as well. But I don't know. Right. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about his training camps and how hard or easy it is to make 130. So that's just me talking. But it seems like he has the frame to get down.
Just looking at him.
Right.
Looking at him, that's what we could tell. I don't know what he could and can't do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he's not that big. So he doesn't. Some people can grow into bigger weight divisions because they're lanky. They can fill out, but he doesn't look like he can fill out.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Plus, he has the power. He doesn't need to.
Right, exactly. Like with Crawford, would he come in at 130, 135? I knew he was moving. He was huge at every weight class. He's even at 140. He looks huge. You know what I mean? So
you see him over guys. He's at 140. He's looking huge of a guy.
That's what I mean. So he didn't have that same type of build. I mean, even dudes like when Andre Berto was fighting at 140, you knew he would move up. He has that stocky, like, Tank is stocky, but he still looks right at 130. He doesn't look bigger than anybody. It looks like that's his weight class. So, I mean, we'll see. He's still young. He could still grow into it, but just his frame itself doesn't look that big. We can move on to the next fight, because I know that was a lot of controversy, and I believe me and you disagreed on our scorecards with this one.
Yeah, it's like always. We always look one round off.
Yeah, we were one round apart. I remember the round. Was it round 5, 6?
I thought it was 4.
It might have been 4.
Maybe it is.
It was a middle round that I gave to Jack and you gave to DeGale, correct?
Yeah, because I remember how it went. It was like, why did you give? Because it was when DeGale hurt. He hurt Badou.
Yeah.
But Badou was dominating the first half of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
He was dominating the first half, then he came back and hurt him. So I gave that round to him.
Right, and honestly, even that's subjective. I feel like that round could have gone either way. I just favored the sustained attack of Badou Jack in that round, and you favored the few big punches that hurt him. Which I think, I mean, that's that's subjective. That can go either way. That's how that happens with judges. It's just what you're looking at. You know what I mean? Right. And you know what? Not to get crazy off topic, because I do want to talk about the fight, but that's why it's important to not leave things in judges' hand. That doesn't mean necessarily press for the knockout, but you need to strive to dominate rounds, because it could be something as simple as that.
Good doing it.
Right. If fighter A looks great the whole round, 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the round, and then 10 seconds go, an overhand left comes in and buzzes you, that he probably just won that round. You know what I mean? In a lot of judges' eyes.
He can steal that round from you just like that. That's why it's really careful to try to not only win rounds, but look good doing so.
Right.
So it's clear, it's concise. Can't nobody say you didn't win. That's what happened with me and you. It was like Badou Jack's doing good this round, and he came through, and boom, he heard him. Then he hit him with a few more. He was like, okay, I got to give it to him.
Yeah.
That's just how it went in my mind.
No, for sure.
I don't always look at fights like that. So I mean, sometimes it just depends. It depends on how the fighter looks and how the quality looks. And sometimes the guy can land big shots, and I'll favor the guy that's just being more busy. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Depends.
Yeah, I don't. And see, and that's the thing. People look at it both ways. I don't like when someone has like a cookie cutter framework to how to win a round. Because to me, everything, sometimes I'll favor a round that has more volume. If I felt like the other fighter just didn't land enough clean shots, and the other guy just outworked him. I mean, that's how Tim Bradley wins all his fights on my card. He outworks everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then
definitely he's not knocking guys around.
Right, exactly. And unless it's Brandon Rios. But then you got guys like Floyd, who later in his career was stingier with his punches, but landed such hard, sharp, counter punches that you had to give him rounds. So it just depends. There's no framework. It just like you said, it depends on the fighter. It depends on the look of the round. It depends on the feel. There's no real framework. Right. But to get into the fight, I believe I scored it 114 to 112, because I had it 7-5 for Badou Jack, and then they both had knockdowns, which took off points. I'm not mad at the draw. I thought the draw was well deserved. That being said,
I called it too.
You did.
Like this is a draw.
You did. You said draw right before. Yeah. That being said, though, I'm not mad at it, but I did think Jack won the fight. I thought he won it fairly clearly, but like I said, I'm still not mad at, because there were some swing rounds. And DeGale swing rounds.
You can't be mad when anything's that close. When it's that close, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
This is what I gotta stress this to people. When a fight is that close, it is no such thing as a robbery.
Right.
You gotta keep saying this, because I keep people saying this. It's too close, because I can just favor one this, and somebody else can favor this, and then they can just go that way. You know what I mean? You can't get upset with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that was the point I was gonna make was. I do think Jack won. I thought it should have been. I would have been cool with a split decision, but even a close unanimous. But it wasn't a robbery. I can't screen robbery in this fight, because DeGale had his moments just as well as Jack did. I favored Jack's work a little bit more, and I want to say the 12th round is what swung it for me in my card.
I gave Jack the 12 because the 12 he wanted it.
Yeah.
In the championship round, he showed I wanted it.
Yeah, I mean that was a hell of a fight, man. I feel like they're not going to do it over, because Jack has just today announced that he's moving up to 175. He vacated his belt which is cool. I mean, to be honest, I do like that, even though I would have liked this rematch because there's not many names at 175. So for him to go up there and get like a Stevenson fight, that's a hell of a fight. Stevenson hasn't fought anyone on that level.
Stevenson not fighting nobody that
Hey man, I can wish.
Dump on his name.
I can wish.
But he hasn't shown me that he's willing to fight upper class people.
And that's the thing.
He hasn't fought.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He didn't fight Bernard Hopkins. He had Kovalov issues.
Yeah.
He didn't fight Andre Ward and Beterbiev.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't fight. They tried to get the fight. He said pretty much, "Who are you? Why you got to fight him?" So all four fighters, there's four of the top fighters he didn't fight.
Yeah.
He stood for the Farm Forest, the Julia Williams, whatever his name was. He the last guy. He's been sticking to that. He's not fighting these top guys. So I have no faith that he can fight Badou Jack. I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how much faith I have, to be perfectly honest with you. You would assume this fight would be easy to make because they're both PBC guys, but who knows? And the thing, I mean, that's the thing that bothers me is Adonis Stevenson is a very good fighter. I would probably at this point, just thinking about it, favor him over Badou Jack because we haven't seen Jack at that weight class. So it's like I want to see that fight made. You know what I mean? And there was a point where I thought Kovalev and Stevenson was a 50-50 fight. That's obviously out the window. I think Kovalev beats him now, but that just shows you how good. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter, but he just isn't fighting anybody, and that's frustrating.
I don't knock his talent, and that's what people give it to. Like, oh, I'm not. So he is a lineal champ.
Yeah,
that man can't fight his butt off. He can hurt you and get you out of that if he hits you good. I take nothing away from him except his will to want to fight the best.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. As far as DeGale, I'm just looking up the rankings right now. I think I want to see him and Gilberto Ramirez, man. I like Gilberto Ramirez. He's a good fighter. I think that would be a really good fight. Ramirez has the WBO, and DeGale still has the IBF. I think that would be. I'm looking up the top 10 as well. Because DeGale still. There's some stuff. I'm blanking. I haven't been in boxing mode still here in a little bit. Ramirez. Oh, the Durrell brothers. I wouldn't mind even a rematch with Andre. Groves moved up.
Cool. What about Joe Smith versus Badou Jack?
That's a good fight. That's a damn good fight. And Joe Smith has earned it. I would favor Badou Jack, I think, just because I think he has better boxing skills. But with the power Joe Smith has, you can't count him out from anything. Because I thought Fanfara was going to take him to school, and Joe Smith looked great. So you can never count him out, man. He has that equalizing power. I think 168 is solid. I feel like a few years ago it had better names. I know Carl Froch was still there. Mikkel Kessler was still there. But it seems like am I wrong? I mean, I feel like 168 is kind of dwindling.
You know who I think is going to take 168 by storm? Who's about to take it over? Jesse Hart.
I like Jesse a lot. We interviewed him. For those who didn't see that, you guys can go on our YouTube. I'll actually link that too. That was a really good interview. That was probably my favorite interview to date.
Because we interviewed him. But
no, he can fight.
He got the goods.
Yeah, he can. He's not even in the top 10 on the ESPN rankings. They got Felix Sturm over there. Yeah, Felix
Sturm got the WBA, don't he?
Does he have the WBA? He might. No, Tyrone Zug. I'm not familiar. I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Right. I thought Stern had it.
I guess he doesn't. I'm trying to think who. No, Sturm did lose though. Recent. Who did he lose to? Let me. He's Sturm has always been a weird fighter to me. Anyway, the one thing I did want to talk about was Floyd Mayweather after the fight. I'm a little annoyed that every time he's at a press conference or a post-fight interview, he always makes it about him. He brought up the De La Hoya fight and I was like, what are you talking about?
He can't get enough attention.
No,
he's
man.
Like Carl Froch. He's
Yeah.
like Carl Froch. I chopped wood, 80,000 screaming fans at Brooklyn. It's like, come on.
That's what I was just gonna say.
You get it.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Some fighters are just self-observed.
Yeah, and he seems to be that way. And I'm anxious to see how that affects him in the promotion world, because it seemed like him and Broner had a little bit of a feud. I mean, not seemed like they had a little bit of a feud for a little bit. Will he get into little feuds or little disputes with people who are starting to get real spotlight in his stable, or will he be content? Kind of like Oscar was. Oscar really never.
What is Broner doing with the money team now?
I have no idea. I don't think he's really,
because it's like they're promoting this fight. They promoting this fight against him.
And Granados.
Against and Granados. They promoting this fight. That's why him and Ellaby was at the press conference.
I mean, isn't TMT and PBC kind of one and the same at this point? I think all the TMT fighters fight on
so,
it.
Because I think because Floyd always say how him and Al Heyman partners.
Yeah.
So if you sound with Al Heyman, I think you pretty much by default have something to do with TMT.
Right, exactly. I agree. I was listening to this podcast and I want to shout them out because they made a really good point, and I just want to relay that point. I would never take credit. I would never take credit for something I really didn't say. The Sunday Puncher podcast. They're a Reddit boxing based podcast that I like. I enjoy listening to them, and they said, with the whole Floyd and Andre Ward beef, that if you really think about it, that's going to help Andre Ward much more than it hurts him. Because anyone could say, oh, he's a great fighter, that's cool, he's awesome. But when you have that drama going, that makes people say, oh man, Floyd's talking about who is this guy? And it brings him more attention. You know what I mean? Right. So then they even flipped it and said, so if Andre Ward fights Kovalev again and beats him more convincingly, now all the Floyd haters are going to turn into Andre Ward fans who are like, hell yeah, he just proved Floyd wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's a cool way to think about it. I would have never even thought about it that way. I don't think they're necessarily planning it that way, but that perspective is an interesting one, I felt like.
You know what I thought it was? I thought it was over Shakur Stevenson.
It might be.
Because everybody everybody thought he was with, like, in the Olympics. Floyd was there with him all the time.
Yeah.
He was rocking Shakur was rocking the TNT hat. It was all out there that he signed Shakur. But out of nowhere, here come Andre Ward and Prince. What's his name? Jay Prince.
Jay Prince.
Ward's Jay Prince, Ward's manager.
I'm not familiar with him.
This is Shakur Stevenson. He was part. I believe he's part of Rap A Lot Records in Houston. Rap A Lot Records.
Okay.
But and then he comes out of nowhere, winnable pictures. Like, yeah, we signed him, and it's like Floyd's like, you dirty mother sucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny.
How dare you steal my prostate?
Yeah, you know what else? Yeah, and I remember you told me this. You told me this off air while we were texting, and I was like, that could be it. I thought about it. It could be because he knew Badou Jack was moving up, and he wants him to fight Andre Ward. That could build up a little bit of controversy towards that. Yeah.
And with Broner and Ashley Theophane, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's a simple plot.
Right.
He came in the ring and said, congratulations, Broner, but I think I got somebody that can beat you.
Right.
Broner say who? He said, Ashley Theophane. Broner say, I'll bring the girl out there, boy, like Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
And from there, Floyd Mayweather started talking crap about Broner. Broner started talking crap about TMT.
Right.
And it goes back and forth. You know what happened? They hyped it up so big that everybody wanted to see that fight. Well, really, if you look at it, Ashley Theophane had no chance to beat Broner.
Yeah.
But the beef that they brought upon it made it. He's Floyd smart like that. He always say, this is not chess. This is not checkers. It's chess. And that's what he get. That's what I said. When him talking about Andre Ward and Virgil Hill, I feel like that's a piece of the chessboard being moved forward. He's moving the piece forward, and he's moving it forward for some reason. Floyd just don't say something to say it. He didn't just decide. He didn't just all of a sudden decide Virgil Hill ain't a good trainer. You know what I'm saying? He didn't just all of a sudden decide that. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna say this because it is, and I really think he wants Ward to bite. He wants Ward to go. Well, if you think I'm not that good, you got Badou Jack up here. I'll show you how to get in here. Let me fight Badou Jack.
Right, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I agree with you. All right, guys, so this was a little bit shorter of an episode. We both felt like we had a little bit more to talk about than we actually did. So we're just going to cut it here. That's cool. Remember to like, subscribe, share. What else can they do? Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. I update that. He's more on the Facebook guy. I'm more of the IG guy. Get us on all these. We're going to come back next week with a preview of Frampton, Santa Cruz, and the Vargas fight. Some good fight. Oh, and Mikey Garcia's fight in a couple weeks, too, on one of those cards. I think it's the Frampton card. So it'll be good to see him back. We have a little bit to talk about with him going towards the future. So we'll have a lot more to talk about coming up. Hopefully some more controversy brews with Floyd Mayweather, and we can get some good fights made on PBC this year. Again, like, subscribe, share, Facebook, Instagram. We don't have a Twitter, but if we did, you guys would follow us. We know you would. Actually, I should make a Twitter for us. That's a good idea. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to do that. So by the time this video's out, we'll have a Twitter. You guys follow us on Twitter. I'll put a link in the description.
Peace.